All right, so I am a little bit upset because it's looking like I am not going to be able to take delivery of my Ford Mustang MachE because of the way that used Tesla prices have just utterly had the floor dropped out of them. So stick with me and I'll tell you a little bit about the situation, where we are, and what it looks like is going to happen. Alright, so anyone who's been following the channel for a little bit now knows that I only got this Tesla Model Y a few months ago, back in June of 2022. And it was sort of going to be, or meant to be, a stopgap car until we ended up getting some combination of the Rivian R1S that we've got on order that will replace our family SUV. Car's getting pulled over in front of me. As well as the Ford Mustang MachE that I ended up putting an order in for in the summer of 2022. And the reason that I ended up doing that was initially I was looking at the MachE because I think it's a pretty cool car. I think it's a great competitor to the Model Y, very similar in size and comfort and features and just about everything. Really the major differences come down to just some of the Tesla software and integration, as well as the supercharging network. But I figured I could live with that because we really don't road trip all that much, and even when we do, we have the flexibility of always using the Buick Enclave that we have instead, just because it has a little bit more room and fits us all. Even though we have been using this Model Y for majority of the road trips recently, but we had that option. And I figured, with the R1S coming hopefully in the next year or so, gives us, that flexibility anyway, so it'd really be more of like a somewhat temporary situation. So initially I was looking at MachEs and I was kind of looking all over the country, and I just couldn't find any that were not being charged a huge markup over MSRP on. And so I, at that time, the order banks were closed, so I decided to just wait until they opened again, which they did around the end of August, I think, of last year. And so I had been in contact with a dealer here for a while. They let me know when they could put an order in, so I did that with them, and then waited for a few months. Was able to see the car eventually get built in November, and then in January, at the very beginning of the month, I got a message from them that the car was there and ready at the dealership, and to let them know when I was going to come in to pick it up. So honestly, not the best communication. Like they initially had my email wrong with Ford, and so I didn't get a single email from like Ford corporate itself the entire time. All I got was directly from the salesperson at the dealership I've been working with, and even that was not a whole lot of communication. So that's pretty disappointing. But I was at least able to find out when the car was ready and everything. So initially, I didn't think I was going to have any problem at all picking up the car or being able to sell this one and make it work. But what ended up happening was the used car prices for Teslas have just gone down so much over the last couple of months that it just really, there's no way for me to make it work financially now without essentially taking a huge loss. And as much as I did want to move on from Tesla and give something new a shot, especially because I did drive the MachE for almost an entire day when I was out in Las Vegas, and you can find that video up here somewhere. And I found that I really enjoyed it. Just really couldn't find a way to make it make any sort of sense. So what had happened was, even as recently as about 3 or 4 months ago, this car, which when bought, I think I was actually very lucky. I timed it very well before the price increases because the order times for these were so long. I'd actually put the order for this car in back in 2021, before I think prices went up by $7,000. So I ended up paying, I think, just around $63,000 for it. But I was seeing instant cash offers from Vroom, Carvana, CarMax, CarGurus in the high 60s, so 67, all the way up to just right under 70. I think at one point I even got a quote for 70,000. So if I'd done that, I would have been able to actually make a profit on this, and would have made moving to the MachE much easier. But with all of the issues and challenges around Tesla over the last couple of months, between Elon's Twitter antics and demand softening and a bunch of other things happening. Obviously, the tax incentives coming along now, and Tesla adding credits and supercharging miles and stuff. That has incentivized a lot of people to just buy new, because the new cars are effectively costing them less now. And so that's really taken a huge bite out of the resale market. So now I'm seeing instant cash offers down in the $40,000 range. Absolute highest I was able to get a couple of weeks ago, and I can't even get it now, was like $50,000. So that is just an absolutely massive decrease. This car is only about 6 months old. I have like 8,000 miles on it. And it doesn't make any sense for me to take that kind of loss on it right now. So there's no way that I'd be selling this one. So really the question kind of came down to, all right, is it worth us selling the Enclave that we've had for, I think, about 4.5 years now, or potentially just keeping 3 cars for now and trying to offload one of them when the used market recovers a little bit. But we decided that it didn't really make sense to do that. The Enclave, we really do depend on for our family car. It's our only 3-row, true 7-seat car. While we can fit all 5 of us in here, it is a little bit tight, especially for road trips. And, it just feels like the kids are kind of on top of us and on top of each other, especially when we're spending more than a few hours in here. So really didn't want to end up with kind of 2 cars at this exact same size and capabilities. There's just so much overlap between the Mach-E and the Model Y that it really didn't make any sense at all for us. Plus, as much as I would like to have 2 electric vehicles, it's great having the Tesla. Like, I never really have to worry about the availability of charging and stuff. But, with CCS and having to depend so much on Electrify America and, the other charge point operators with the Mach-E, just seemed like it'd be adding, stress and kind of removing some of the flexibility that we have by having 1 electric car and 1 gas car right now. So, I still definitely absolutely want to do that, but I think instead, we're going to be waiting until our R1S is available. Right now it's still showing 2024, but I'm hoping, that shifts up a little bit soon. And we don't have to wait more than a year or so more for that. And we'll replace the Enclave with that when we get it. And then, maybe in the meantime, we'll see if Tesla resale prices come back up at all. If so, might be time for us to, get out of this one and into something that fits our values a little bit more, as well as just like having a chance to try something a little bit different. I really did like the Mach-E when I drove it. You can find all of my impressions in the video, but in particular, I like the way that it drove, especially in unbridled mode. I liked the screen and the infotainment system there. Really liked having CarPlay. Hasn't been so much of a big deal now that Tesla added Apple Music into the infotainment unit here, but it is just still nice having CarPlay and being able to do other things like podcasts and using Waze and plug share and things like that. So I would still love for Tesla to do that, but having that in the Mach-E was definitely nice, although I'm not sure it's such a huge advantage now. So so that's kind of where we stand now. Unfortunately, because of a combination of economic conditions and I think a bunch of just like boneheaded decisions by Tesla's leadership, it has taken a huge bite out of what we are now financially able to do, and it's just really disappointing. I was really kind of, I understand that it was a unique situation. Like, things were really inverted when resale prices were so inflated. I was able to take huge advantage of that when we got the Model 3 and this car at the same time, and was able to, essentially flip the Model 3 around for a profit. But, it's, it is reverted back now, and that's no longer the case. So, unfortunately, those plans just really didn't come to fruition. And, I'm very thankful that Ford had a 100% refundable deposit option for the Mach-E. So, I haven't gotten that back yet, but I just asked for it yesterday. So hopefully in the next day or two I'll get that, and I'll keep you posted if I have any challenges with that, just so people are aware of what the situation is with Ford ordering. But overall, one thing that I would say, kind of going through the whole experience, I'm a little bit more hesitant now to potentially go through Ford again to order a car. I really, really, really like the just flexibility and not having to deal with people very much through the direct-to-consumer sales channels that Tesla has. I guess Polestar, and a few others are kind of moving toward. But Ford is still, despite their kind of corporate leadership trying to move them into the future, still very kind of legacy in the way that they operate. The fact that I had to go through a specific dealer, that I had to work with a salesperson, even just to get an order in and have like a car allocated to me, and then just wait so long for the order to actually go in and deal with order banks and stuff. This felt very archaic and like just didn't make any sense to me. Like, why not just take the orders when they're coming in and give people the option to stick with it or change their minds as more information comes in around model year features and pricing and everything. Just seemed really strange to me, and I didn't really care for it. And then I didn't like how much like back and forth I had to do, even on what was essentially like no negotiation on the car pricing. Like, I knew exactly what I was paying for it from the outset and everything, but I still just had to go back and forth a bunch and like kind of like almost felt like negotiating on stuff. So didn't care for that. And had I needed to do anything like financing or leasing or trade-in or anything, I could just tell, like, they were going to try to get me in there. We would have been doing one of those things where you just spend hours in a dealership and go back and forth between, their sales and trade-in and financing and management and stuff, and just play all these games that I don't want to do. I like how Tesla, you just order it, you can track what is going on with it, and then when it's ready, you just go and pick it up, and you don't even need to talk to anybody. That's my ideal situation. So I wish more and more companies would move toward that. I guess I forgot to mention, I did also try to work through them a little bit in terms of trade-in on this. It doesn't make a huge difference in New Jersey because new EV sales actually don't pay sales tax anyway, so you're not reaping huge benefit in terms of trade-in on like sales tax reductions. But still would have been an option if they were able to even come close to like what we needed. So I told them I was looking to like get as close as possible to breaking even on this, even if that meant sort of tax incentives or anything else. And they just told me no. There was no way they could even come close to it, and didn't even try. So that was it was weird. I was expecting more like negotiation and back and forth, but I guess they don't care right now. The power's in their hands. They're more than happy to just take my car and be able to resell it at a markup now. So there's really no incentive to them to like really try to get me to take the car, because in a way they're almost losing money on it. Since I'm not taking it, it becomes their car, which they wouldn't have otherwise had allocated, and they can mark it up now with additions over MSRP and basically make more money off of it than had they just let me take it. It seems like it's kind of working out that way for everyone. So what that means, for the short term at least, most of the content you're going to see here is going to continue to be, based off of the Model Y. And then, of course, I'm going to keep getting my hands on additional EVs, talking to folks about their experiences, either with first EVs or, new ones. I'm going to try to get some more test drives scheduled soon and bring you some more cars. And then, of course, continued road trips. This is kind of our big ski road trip season right now. So we've got trips planned to Vermont twice in the next 2 months. And got plenty more stuff coming in terms of news and stuff for Tesla and other EVs. So stick with us and make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss any of that. With that, thanks so much for watching. Let me know, what you think about the entire experience I went through in the comments below. Let me know if you've got a Mach-E on the way or anything like that. And I'd love to hear about your experiences with Ford or any other like traditional dealers as they move to the world of EVs as well. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.